Now we're going to study a specific progression used very frequently in jazz and apply it to the A and B voicings. This progression is the 2-5-1 progression. We've talked about this before with regard to our shell voicings. The 2-5-1 progression is in the key of C, for example. Go to the second scale degree and build a minor seventh. Go to the fifth scale degree and build a dominant seventh. And go to the first scale degree and build a major seventh. We've already looked at this with shell voicings, where we would go open, open, or closed, open, closed. Now we're going to take these A and B voicings and apply them to the 2-5-1. We've got two different ways that we can do this. One we'll call an academic version, and the other one we'll call a stylized version. Let's look at the academic version first. So what we're going to do first is go to an A position D minor 7th chord. So here's our D minor 9th chord, and omit the root, and there's your D minor 9th in A position. We're going to alternate this going to the 5 chord with a B position dominant 9th chord. So our G 9th chord in B position would be right here. If I put the root, you can see it and hear what it sounds like. So we had D minor here and G dominant 7th here. Now you can see that to go to the C major 7th chord in A position, we're just going to move the last two pitches down one scale degree, and that would give us our 2-5-1, A position, B position, A position, D minor 9, G 9, C major. However, right now we're going to study these with the left hand only, so let's go ahead and put those chords in the left hand. There's your D minor 9th chord in A position, to a G 9th in B position, to a C major 9th in A position. 2, 5, 1. This we're calling an academic version, basically because it's staying strictly to our concept of 9th chords being put without the root and just moving straight down the scale without any kind of alterations or any kind of extensions. Everything is just basically a 9th chord. So this we'll call ABA. So this is 2-5-1 academic ABA. Let's call it that. Let's go ahead and do this in another key. How about F? So finding that first chord, which is a G minor 9th, and putting it in an A position. G is here. Here's our G minor 9, so we omit the root. And here's our G minor 9th in A position. Remember, what we're doing is bringing the first two tones down one scale degree. And so for our C 9th, we would get B flat, D, E, and G. Then to go to the 1 chord, which is F, we bring those bottom two notes down one scale degree, and they go A, C, E, G, and that's our F major 9th chord in A position. G minor 9, C 9, F major 9. Let's try one more key. How about D major? Here's D. Go to the 2 chord, which is E, and build a minor 9th, and omit the root, and here we have, looking a lot like a G major 7th chord, is an E minor 9th chord in A position. The top two pitches come down one scale degree to give us G, B, C sharp, E. That's our A dominant 9th chord in B position. Then the bottom two pitches go down one scale degree, and that gives us our 1 chord, D major 9th in A position. Different people have different ways of looking at this. Some people feel comfortable knowing that the 2 chord, when it's put into A position, looks a lot like a 4 chord. So if I'm in D major and I want to find my 2 chord in A position, I just go to a 4 chord. As far as how the top pitches move and then the bottom pitches move, the way I like to look at it is the top two pitches move down one scale degree, and the bottom two pitches then move down one scale degree. But in order to think of it this way, you have to be very comfortable with the major scale of the moment, whatever scale you're in. Other people get very mathematical about it and say, well, the top pitch comes down a whole step and the lower pitch goes down a half step. Then on the 1 chord, the middle pitch goes down a whole step and the bottom pitch goes down a half step. However you want to think of it is okay. That to me seems to be a little bit too much thinking to do, but if that works for you, then that's fine. Let's try one more key before we move on. How about the key of A flat major? A flat major. So one way of doing it was go to that 4 chord. So D flat major 7th would give us our A position 2 chord. Top 2 pitches come down 1 scale degree. Then the bottom 2 pitches go down 1 scale degree. And that gives us our 2-5-1. Remember, we're staying relatively strict to that idea that these voicings are going to stay pretty much between this D flat below middle C and this G above middle C. So actually, this last series of voicings we did sort of violate that rule a little bit because our pinky finger is going lower than the D flat, but you'll find it should be just kind of a general rule that you'll want to follow. Now let's stay with this academic version, which is basically just everything's a 9th chord and we're alternating. And let's go to the B voicing. So instead of going A, B, A, we're now going to go B position, A position, B position. This is what you're going to be required to do when it comes time to test on this skill. So let's go back to C major again. C major, D minor 9th chord is right there. That's A position, so B position is up here. C, E, F, and A. That's a D minor 9th chord in B position. For this one, in order to go to the G 9th chord in A position, because we're alternating, the bottom 2 pitches are going to go down 1 scale degree first, and then to go to our C major chord, the top 2 pitches are going to come down 1 scale degree, and that's going to give us our C major chord, C major 9th chord in B position. So we've got D minor in B position, G dominant in A position, and C major in B position. Let's try another key for this one. How about G major? So go to G, find that B position 2 chord. Let's try to see if there's a way to get around this, think of it easier. Well, in G, A is our 2, so A minor 9th is right there. Looks like a C major 7th chord. Take the bottom 2 pitches and swing them up. And there's our A minor 9th chord in B position. Well, you can see that since we're doing the key of G, my pinky finger is on the root of the key, so that might be one way to think of it. In the key of G, my 2 chord in B position is going to have as its lowest pitch the 1 of the key, or the root or tonic of the key. So here's my A minor 9th chord in B position. The bottom 2 pitches move down 1 scale degree, and that gives us our D 9th chord in A position. Then the top 2 pitches move down 1 scale degree, and that gives us our G major 9th chord in B position. A minor 9, D 9, G major 9. Okay. One more key before we move on to the stylized version. Let's go to the key of E flat major. So in E flat major, remember we're going to keep our pinky finger on the tonic of the key. But it's like a 4 chord, so right there is our F minor 9th chord in B position. E flat, G, A flat, and C. Bottom 2 pitches move down 1 scale degree to give us our B flat 9. And then the top 2 pitches move down 1 scale degree to give us our E flat major 9. There it is. B, A, B. So we've got 2 different positions that we're trying to deal with in this academic version. Remember, they go A, B, C major, or B, A, B, and that would be in C major as well. Alright, now let's look at what I'm calling the stylized version. This way has a little bit more of a modern or a hipper sound, deals with some extensions to the chords and slightly different voicing. So let's go to the key of C major. Here we had our D minor 9th chord in A position. Now in order to get kind of a neat sound like a G13th, we really only need to move 1 pitch. And that's this second finger moves down 1/2 step, and that gives us a nice G13th sound. D minor 9th, G13th. Then what we can do to get a nice sound on that resolution chord, the 1 chord, is every pitch can move down 1 scale degree. And that gives us a chord that we call a C6-9. Remember, in an earlier lecture we talked about if we had a major 9 and wanted a 6-9, the 6 takes the place of the 7, so we would move it like this. So altogether our ABA in this more stylized version will sound like this. D minor 9, G13, C6-9. 3, 5, 6, and 9. Let's try another key for this one. How about the key of, let's go with A major. A major. So the 2 chord in A major is B. So we play that D major 7th looking chord, which is actually a B minor 9th in A position. Second from the top note moves down 1 scale degree, or actually a half step. Then the entire chord moves down 1 scale degree. So we get this. Let me try that one more time. There we go. All right. How about one more key before we go on to the other inversion? This once again is A, B, A here. Let's go to the key of, let's see, that last one was A major. So let's go to E flat major, and we're going to go up to the 4 chord and build a major 7th. That gives us our F minor 9th chord in A position. That second from the top moves down a half step, giving us a B13. Then every tone moves down 1 scale degree. G, B flat, C, and F, 3, 5, 6, and 9. That's our 6-9 sound. Okay, now let's look at the stylized version of the BAB. Let's go back to the key of C. And remember, to find our 2 chord, we go to putting our pinky finger on the tonic of the key and play what looks like a 4 chord, C, E, F, and A. For this one, in order to go to the G13, our pinky finger moves down a half step, and that gives us a nice G13th sound. 3, 13, 7, and 9. Then we're going to move the top 3 pitches down by 1 scale degree, and that's going to give us our C major 9. 7, 9, 3, 5. Let's try another key on that one. How about F major? So in F major, pinky finger goes on the root of the key, and we play what feels like a major 7th chord in 4/3 inversion. Let's see. So that would be F, A, B flat, and D, 7, 9, 3, 5. To go to this stylized BAB, pinky finger goes down a half step, and then the top 3 pitches come down 1 scale degree. 7, 9, 3, 5. E, G, A, and C. All right. How about one more key before we leave this? And that would be the key of, let's do D flat major. So in D flat major, we would put our pinky finger on the D flat and play what looks like a 4 chord or a 4 major 7th chord. Okay, so D flat, F, G flat, and B flat. Pinky finger moves down 1 half step, and then the top 3 pitches move down 1 scale degree in D flat. C, E flat, F, and A flat. So we get this. You'll find these 2-5-1s to be very useful. 2-5-1s appear all over the place in all kinds of standard jazz tunes and older classic jazz tunes. So these kinds of chord progressions you're going to find those 2-5s and 2-5-1s all over the place. Let's do one more review of everything we just talked about here before we go on to drills. So the first way is the academic version. Let's look at that. ABA. So we have a 2 chord. Top 2 pitches come down 1 scale degree. Bottom 2 pitches come down 1 scale degree. And that's your 2-5-1. ABA. Let's look at 2-5-1 academic version. BAB. So 7-9-3-5. There's our D minor 9th chord. Bottom 2 pitches move down 1 scale degree. Top 2 pitches move down 1 scale degree. And there's your 2-5-1 BAB. Let's now look at the stylized version. So remember, we go back to that 2 chord. In this one, the second from the top pitch comes down, and that gives us our G13th. Then all the pitches come down, and that gives us our C6-9 chord. In the BAB version, start with that same 2 chord, 7-9-3-5. Bottom pitch goes down a half step only, giving us our G13th. Then the top 3 pitches come down 1 scale degree, giving us our C major 9th chord. there's the 6 chords, or the 6 versions or voicings of these 2-5-1 chords that we're going to look at. You have your choice of either doing the academic version or the stylized version. Either way is fine. Just be consistent when you're doing it in class and when you're getting ready to start working on tunes. But you'll find that both ways are going to sound good when you start applying it to a tune, and both ways are very helpful in getting all of these voicings together when you're going to play chords in a variety of different ways when you start playing through tunes and playing with combos. Okay, so in a future video we'll go through drilling all of these different voicings, and then we'll talk about putting them in the right hand. But for right now, have fun with this, and I'll look forward to seeing you in a future lecture.